Picture this. You send me your website URL, the www dot whatever your URL is .com, and tell me your biggest frustration. Maybe it is that people visit your website, but they don't book calls. Maybe you are getting people booking calls, but they are the wrong people, the not the right fit clients. Maybe you don't have a lot of traffic. Or if you do have a lot of traffic, the conversions, the people actually booking are terrible. 50 minutes later, after you send me your URL, tell me your frustration, and we get on a call, you will have a recorded video walkthrough of exactly what's not working and a prioritized action plan and the clarity to finally fix your website instead of just worrying about it. That is exactly what happens in my website coaching call. And honestly, these are one of my favorite things to do because the transformation can be so immediate. And it's so fun to speak with small business owners just like you to help them transform their websites. Today, I thought I could take you behind the scenes of what actually happens during these calls, not just what we look at, but why it truly matters and how quickly you can see results when you know exactly what to fix. Because here's what I've learned after doing probably hundreds of these sessions. Most website owners, small business owners, are making the same handful of mistakes over and over. And once you see them, they're actually pretty easy and straightforward to fix. Welcome to Website Design Made Simple, the podcast for busy small business owners who want a high-performing website that converts and sells their offers, even while they're sleeping. Because you deserve to have a strategic and beautiful website that truly represents your brand and positions you as the expert that you are. I'm your host, Jenny B, web designer and creative director at Jenny B Designs, where we believe that your website is the one thing that makes you sales and builds your brand at the same time. Ready to say goodbye to a website that you're embarrassed to share? And hello to a money-making, personality-packed powerhouse? Let's head into today's episode. Hello, welcome back to the podcast, and Happy New Year. I am so excited that you joined me today. And we are going to talk about my website coaching call. First, for those who I haven't already met, or if you're new at the beginning of 2026 because you put your website as a priority to focus on this coming year, my name is Jenny B, and I own Jenny B Designs. We are a brand and web design studio. And my passion is helping small business owners just like you design a beautiful and strategic website that attracts your ideal clients and makes you money. Today, we're talking about my favorite thing to do in my website coaching call. And I just want to share with you how it works, what we look at, and then what you could look at on your website and do it yourself right now. Now, before the two of us even get on a call, when you book a session with me, I ask you 3 specific questions, and they aren't random. They completely shape how I'm going to approach your website. The first one is, what is your main website goal? Are you trying to get people to book discovery calls like I am? Do you want them to buy something immediately? Maybe you offer services or packages that people can just buy and then schedule if it is something that you have to be scheduled with. Is there a detailed application? Are you wanting them to call your office? Maybe you're a local med spa or a dentist's office. Then you want them to call to schedule an appointment. This matters because a website that is optimized for someone to book a consultation call, like mine is, will look different than one that is optimized for an immediate purchase. The copy is different, the calls to action is different, and even the navigation needs to be a little bit different. The second thing I want to know is, how does your sales process actually work? Walk me through what happens after someone contacts you. Again, the consultation first, and then what? Is there an application process? Do you send a proposal? Understanding your back-end process helps me understand where your website might be creating friction or setting wrong expectations. And this year, 2026, we need to be extremely clear and transparent on our websites with our visitors, telling them exactly what's going to happen next. I like to understand how your sales process actually works. And then finally, what is your biggest frustration right now? I shared about this in the intro. Are you getting a lot of traffic, but no one is converting? You're not getting increase. Or a lot of inquiries from people who don't match your ideal client. Maybe they can't afford you. Maybe they aren't willing to work with your process. Maybe people are booking calls with you, but then they leave. They ghost you before the meeting. You never even get on that call. By understanding what is really frustrating you, that allows me to know where to focus. Because our 50 minutes together needs to be strategic and we need to prioritize what's going to move the needle most for your specific situation. This pre work really matters to me because I'm not just clicking through your website and telling you, I like the homepage, it looks so pretty, and this about page, I don't like this color blue here. That's not what we're doing together. What we are doing is that I'm analyzing everything through the lens of your specific goals and your sales process. That is the difference between a coaching call and just having a best friend look at your website and give you feedback. We're going to do a deep dive. The first thing I'm going to look at is that hero section. This is the first thing people see when they land on your homepage. And I'm looking at it with those 3 questions in mind. What is it that you offer? How can you make this person's life better? And what do they need to do next? How do they take the next step with you? I'm looking at your headline. Does it clearly state who you help and how you help them? Or is it vague and generic and just speaking to anyone? That subheadline, the supporting text, does it speak to your ideal client's problem? And when I say problem, I don't want to go negative, but I want to call out to the person where they are in their journey so they know you understand and can help them. I'm also looking at that image. Does it show the transformation or the outcome that your client wants? Or is it just a nice picture that doesn't communicate anything? I always give this example of the dentist's office because it's so easy to understand. A lot of dental offices have the picture of someone getting their teeth cleaned in the dentist chair. That's the opposite of what you want. You want a picture of someone running, having fun, with their family maybe, smiling, and when you see their teeth, they are perfectly straight and so white that they shine through. That is a transformation that you're giving your clients. You want to show the transformation in that photo. And then finally, your call to action. Is it clear and specific? And is it driving people to take the first step in your sales process? That is why I ask about your sales process. What do we want them to do? What is the goal of the website? The next thing up is the navigation menu. I'm looking for clarity. Your nav menu tells people what you think is important. And a lot of times, like 9 out of 10 times, it is too busy, overwhelming, and confusing. What I'm checking is that do your menu labels make sense for a first-time visitor? Or is it language that only you understand? This example of giving your blog a fancy name, you want to call it Kathy's Creative Corner if you're a design business or something. If you have that in the nav menu, people aren't going to understand what it is. If you have the word blog, that's clear. You could have a fun name when you get to the blog, but making sure that those nav items are clear and concise and it makes sense to a first-time visitor. And then, are you having drop downs? And if you are they organized in a way that guides people to take the next step with you? And most important is that action, that overall goal that you want people to take on your website. For me, it's to book a call. Is it easy to find? Is there a big button in the upper right-hand corner with that goal? Easy to find. Or is it buried under a drop-down under more info or about or services, something like that? And there's a navigation test that you can take. If someone is ready to work with you right now, can they get there with under 3 clicks? I hope that they can, because you want people to be able to book with you or buy the thing or sign up for your membership under 3 clicks. Check and see if that works through your site. Next, we are looking at the copy throughout your entire site. I'm reading your homepage. Specifically, I mentioned the hero. Then I'm going to your about pages and your service. On the homepage, we talked about that hero. Is it clear who this is for? Do you name the specific problem that you solve? Do I say, like, case in point, do I say that I'm a website designer? I hope I do, because if I don't, I'm kind of beating around the bush and people want to understand, what do you do? I design websites. Make it clear. And are you using language that clients actually use? We don't want to use jargon. We want to use simple, clear language. On the about page, are you building trust and credibility? Are you connecting your story to why it matters for the clients? The about page isn't about you. It's about how you can help your clients and make their life better. And is there a next step at the end of the at the end of the about page? Are you driving people to take the next step with you? And on the services page, can people understand what they are actually getting when they hire you? Are you explaining the process? I have a signature 4-week process. I'm not just listing the features that you get when you get a website with me. I'm not just listing off a 5-page website with the blog, SEO, and I optimize it for search. I'm not giving the features. I am explaining the process and I'm giving the transformation that you're going to end up with a website that attracts your ideal clients and makes you money. And are you addressing common objections? And is pricing included? Even if it's just a starting point, it helps. I believe that everyone should have their pricing transparency. Remember, 2026, it's important on their services page. And when I'm looking at that copy, I want to make sure it sounds like you're having a conversation with your ideal client, not just generic industry jargon that could be on anyone's website. And some of us shy away from being really specific and personable because we don't want to exclude anyone. We don't want to alienate anyone or say, I'm open for business. I'll work with anyone. And so you leave your copy really generic. I'm here to tell you that if you bring personality and make your copy more pointed and speaking to your ideal client, you're not only going to call in more ideal clients, you're going to call in other people as well. They're not going to read your copy and say, no, I don't want to work with this person. That's not how it works. They are going to still contact you. But when you can speak to your ideal client with personality and fun and lightness and make that connection, you will have even better results. And then I'm looking at your images, your visual experience. Do your visuals support your messaging? Do your images show real people, or is it just generic stock images? If you are service-based, are there photos of you or your team? Or are you hiding behind your brand? Is there enough white space for the content to breathe, or is everything kind of jammed together? And then the user experience. I just scan and see if I can find what I'm looking for. Do you have hierarchy? Do you have varying weights of fonts? Are there bullet lists? Things like that. And then do you have the important elements like contact buttons? Are they I'm interrupting this episode to ask you a question. Is your website working as hard as you are? You've invested in a website, but if visitors aren't becoming paying clients, something's missing. My website audit is a professional review where I will analyze your site and identify exactly what's blocking conversions. You'll get a prioritized action plan with specific changes to turn more browsers into buyers. So stop guessing what's wrong and get some clear answers. Book your website audit today. The link is in the show notes. Now back to the episode. Yes, or do they blend into the background? Then the next step that I'm going to look at is the SEO audit. And this is where things get a tiny bit technical, but I try to make it really simple. And I dive into the back end so that I can understand how Google and all of these chat bots and AI models are reading your website so that you're not limiting your reach. I'm looking for meta titles and descriptions. This is what shows up in Google search results and what these AI models are reading. I'm checking that you have them all. Are they written strategically or are they just defaulting to your page name? Do you just have Jenny B Designs Home? Or is it Jenny B Designs Website Designer in Boston? See the difference right there? Does it include relevant keywords that people are searching for? Are they compelling enough for someone to click? Then I look at your page title and tags. And I'm not going to get bogged down and tell you about all of these different things that you have to change for SEO. But I do want to make sure that we have the foundation there, that you have an H1, which is the most important title tag of your page. It tells Google and these AI models what this page is about and what is important. Is there one clear H1 that includes your main keyword for that page? Do you have H2s and H3s? And are you naturally incorporating keywords throughout the content? And this matters for your business goals because if your business goal is to book a discovery call, but your SEO is optimized for people ready to buy immediately, there's a disconnect. Or if your SEO is optimized and it's not specific enough for your industry, people aren't going to find you. Now let's bring this all together. How everything works together is that the magic of the coaching call, I'm looking at everything as a whole system, not just isolated pieces here and there. Maybe your hero section is actually pretty good because you've been working on it. You've heard me talk about the hero section in every single podcast episode. But when I get to your services page, maybe it's a little bit confusing. It's not clear. Maybe you don't have your pricing or your packages or your signature process. So people might leave before understanding what you truly offer. Maybe your about page is really, really great, but there's no call to action. There's no path getting from the about page to book a call on the contact page. Maybe your SEO is bringing in traffic, but it's the wrong kind of traffic or not the specific enough type of traffic. In our time together, I'm always asking myself, what's going to make the biggest difference fastest? Because you don't need to fix everything at once. You just need to fix the right things in the right order. After our call, you will walk away with the video recording, the walkthrough of your entire website. You can watch it as many times as you need. You can share it with the team. You will get a written summary of the key issues organized by priority so you know what you need to focus on first. Or you can hand it to your team or your VA. This is what I'd like you to focus on. And specific action items with clear next step. I don't just say improve your copy on your homepage. I'm talking about specific changes such as rewrite your homepage headline to clearly state who you help and what problem you solve. And then, of course, the timeline. Most clients, when they implement these quick wins, they can see a difference within a week. The bigger strategic changes, such as SEO, might take a little bit longer, a month or two. But you're not wondering what you should focus on. You have a clear roadmap after this call. Now, that is how my coaching call works. Say you want to look at your website right now. What can you do yourself right now? Here's what you can do. Take the 3-second test. Look at your homepage on your phone. Show it to someone who doesn't know your business. Give them 3 seconds and ask them what you do, who you help, what they should do next. If it's not clear, your hero section needs to have a little bit of work. Look at your navigation with fresh eyes. Would that first-time visitor understand those labels, or is anything confusing? Give your copy a read. We talked about the homepage, the services, about. Look at it. Does it sound like you? Do you have calls to action? Are you talking about features or outcomes? And then if you want to check your SEO, look at the meta titles and descriptions. Do you have those? And do you have clear H1s? It might be time to work with someone when there's a disconnect with what you think is clear and what could actually confuse visitors. Maybe you don't understand your customer journey on your website and you want someone to help you, talk you through it. Maybe you don't understand how to look at the SEO issues you might have going on with your website. Or you don't know the priority of what to fix on your website first. That is where a coaching call can make a huge difference. You can get an outside perspective from me, from someone who's looked at hundreds of websites and knows what actually does convert. It's not magic, it's pattern recognition and understanding how websites work. And maybe the biggest value of a coaching call isn't even the specific fixes. I say it's more so the confidence that comes from knowing exactly what needs to change. You're not wondering if your website is the problem. You're not second guessing every decision that you make. You have a clear plan, a clear path to make changes. And if fixing your website leads to even one more additional client this month, the coaching call has paid for itself many times over. A lot of clients tell me that they implement the quick wins and within a week, they see immediate improvements in their inquiry quality or being found or the clarity that people are seeing, the visitors are seeing when they get on their website. So this call is perfect if you have a website that is not performing like you want. You're getting traffics, but not conversions. You are attracting the wrong people. You know something is off, but you can't quite figure it out. And you don't need a full redesign. You just want strategic improvements. So to sum it all up, your website doesn't have to be perfect, but it does need to be strategic. It needs to clearly communicate who you help, how you help them, and what they should do next. And it needs to support your actual sales process and not just look pretty. It needs to be optimized so that the right people can find you and take action. And that is exactly what we will discuss in a coaching call. And that's what can transform a website from something that you're embarrassed about into something that actually works for your business. If you are interested in a website coaching call, you can click the link in the show notes and book one with me this month. It's a great time to take control of your website and set yourself up for success in 2026. I thank you so much for listening, and I will talk to you next time. And that wraps up another episode of Website Design Made Simple. I hope you found the insights shared in this episode valuable and takes you one step closer to creating a website that attracts more of your ideal clients and builds your brand. If you enjoyed this episode, please take a minute to leave a review on Apple Podcasts or a rating on Spotify. Your review will help us reach more small business owners like you who are ready to make more money with their website. Thank you so much for listening, and I'll see you in the next episode.